Does output help with language learning? By output, I mean speaking and writing, as opposed to input, which is reading and listening. So many people on the internet recommend to speak from day one when learning a foreign language. I agree that output may help with memorization. To memorize a word, you can speak out loud or write it down a few times. In the case of Japanese kanji, I believe you have to write it down in order to learn kanji. But as a general rule, I don't try to output when studying a foreign language. I focus almost entirely on input, in other words, just listening and reading. Input is absolutely necessary. Nobody can question that. It is impossible to learn a language without reading or listening. But output is debatable. It is perfectly possible to learn a language without output, so output is not necessary. But in language learning, you need to be as efficient as possible. Language learning is very difficult. You need to study every day for years. If you use the wrong method, you may completely fail to learn and waste years of your life. So the question becomes, does output help? It is impossible to learn anything new with output. Output only reinforces what you already know. The only way to learn something new is with input. The time spent with output could be used for input. Aren't you wasting time with output? One danger with early output is fossilization. Fossilization refers to the process in which incorrect language becomes a habit and cannot easily be corrected. It may be due to complacency or an inability to overcome obstacles to attain full proficiency. Without a need to correct form or structure, the learner fossilizes instead of correcting. For example, by outputting too early, the learner may get used to the wrong pronunciation and may never be able to correct later on. This happens, for example, with Japanese learners of English. They get used to the katakana pronunciation and are almost never able to learn the correct pronunciation. Not only the pronunciation suffers, the listening skills and ability to understand native speakers also gets impaired. Eventually, most language learners want to output. They want to speak and write and communicate with native speakers. For many, that is the goal of language learning. But I believe output should at least be delayed. The learner should focus on input first. Once the learner knows the pronunciation of a word and is able to listen and correctly identify the word in a speech, then he is ready to output and speak by himself. Trying to force the learner to speak when he is still not sure of the pronunciation of the word is, in my opinion, counterproductive.